It's a list of conspiracy theories
I think he just
that turned out to be true.
It's making sure you just got to say one.
That's awesome.
All right. So the first is the iSlow conspiracy theory. For years, users of Apple products claimed that older models of iPhones were deliberately slowed down by the corporation as a means of nudging customers into purchasing new iPhones or iPads.
No, I got news for you. It's not just Apple.
And by the way, they claimed, it's conspiracy. Well, in 2017, Apple admitted it.
Yeah.
But it was just a misunderstanding. It was we were offering. They had to offer their customers a complimentary $29 battery replacement as penance. Sorry, that doesn't get the job done.
That was
I got a cut from that.
Did you?
Honestly, that should have been a bigger deal.
It should have.
That should have been a class action.
They were
lawsuit.
actually doing it.
It was a class action.
Oh, it's a misunderstanding. How is it a misunderstanding? Right. What do you mean? It's a misunderstanding.
You know what?
You slowed down people's service.
If I'm the judge, if I had the power in Keith world, it would be what was the percentage that that was demonstrated that the phone was slowed down? Mm-hmm. Okay, it was 20% slower. All right, then you owe 20%
yes.
purchase price back to all of the
exactly.
Apple iPhone
I like
customers.
that.
Yeah,
because I got like
that's
$5.
what should have happened.
That is, I mean, and that happens on. I contend when you have a phone for more than a year and a half, 2 years, the updates start slowing them down. It doesn't matter. Like Android, Apple, it's a racket.
Number 2, secret dope. American cyclist Lance Armstrong faced numerous accusations that he was using illicit performance-enhancing substances during his reign of 7 consecutive Tour de France victories. For years, these accusations were published almost exclusively in the French press, and they were written off by a lot of people here as conspiracy theorizing, including by me.
And this one hurt.
This hurt a lot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because it was the Frenchies that busted him.
Damn Frenchies. And I remember, defending Lance Armstrong. He's using banned substances. It's called deodorant, Frenchies.
Hey-o!
That's the banned substance he's using.
Oh, yes,
we know
sir.
you guys can't handle it, so...
yes, sir.
So then it turns out, he'd been doping the whole time. That's great.
Yeah,
that was really disappointing.
Yeah, if you're going to fly the American flag and represent America overseas, particularly in Europe, particularly in France, you better be on the up and up, because I don't want to hear later that the French were right about you.
And they were. So that really sucked. How about the Central Psychedelic Agency? Instead of the Central Intelligence Agency, they tested psychedelic substances on unwitting people as part of a multi-decade research program into finding a mind control drug to use on communist spies.
Oh, sure. MK Ultra.
MK Ultra. Turned out to be 100% true.
Mm-hmm. And then, I mean, all the way to the point where President Ford apologized to the family of Frank Olson, who jumped out of a window.
Oh, yeah.
With the LSD stuff. I mean,
jeez,
your government's been experimenting on Americans forever.
Number 4, Big Brother is watching you after all. Mainstay of conspiracy theorists that the government is watching and listening to everything you do. But in 2013, former CIA employee Edward Snowden revealed that this was, in fact, absolutely true. His disclosures established that several Western governments, including the U.S., UK, Australia, and Canada, are engaged in a vast global surveillance program on both foreign and domestic citizens in cooperation with the major telecommunications companies.
Yeah.
Okay. How about the Crack Team? In his song Crack Music, Kanye West raps, "How we stopped the Black Panthers. Ronald Reagan cooked up an answer," referring to the allegation that the Reagan government played a role in the importation of massive amounts of coke into the U.S., fueling the crack epidemic of the 1980s and 90s. In 1996, this theory gained significant credibility when an investigative reporter named Gary Webb revealed that the CIA knowingly permitted large amounts of coke to be imported into the United States by Nicaraguan suppliers throughout the 1980s in an effort to support the Nicaraguan groups that sought to overthrow the socialist regime. All right.
He died young.
False flag operation. The U.S. invaded Vietnam following the infamous Gulf of Tonkin incident, where it was alleged the North Vietnamese made 2 separate attacks on U.S. ships. The alleged incident galvanized support for the decades-long U.S. invasion of Vietnam, even while many at the same time questioned whether the attacks had occurred as claimed. Eventually, following the release of secret U.S. documents, it was confirmed that the first alleged attack was initiated by the U.S. on the North Vietnamese rather than the other way around. Since Tonkin was meant to be the whole reason that the U.S. declared war on Vietnam, actually war wasn't ever declared. That was a police invasion. That was a police action. But this information made all the theories that the U.S. entered the conflict under false pretenses a whole lot more believable. Yep, that's unfortunate. Wow. Terrestrial abductions. Beginning in the late 1970s, regular Japanese citizens began disappearing from areas on Japan's coastline. At the time, many in Japan asserted that they believed this was the work of North Korea, deliberately abducting persons for espionage purposes. In 2002, North Korean leader Kim Jong-il admitted to the Japanese government they had, in fact,
That's awesome.
abducted 13 Japanese citizens between 1978 and 1983. And he issued an oral apology and repatriated several of the captured citizens back to Japan. I've never even heard about this one.
That's
Not
Have
at
you?
all.
No, I never heard that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Japanese government believes the number of abducted persons is at least 17 and may even be in the hundreds.
Wow.
Wow. So were they like dress up as green people and then just abducting people?
That is wild.
That's
so
crazy.
wild.
Wow. John Lennon used his considerable fame and fortune as a member of the Beatles and a solo artist to influence his fans politically, including vocally opposing the U.S.-led conflict in Vietnam. As a result, it was frequently suspected by many, including Lennon himself, that he was the subject of FBI surveillance and general chicanery meant to undermine his power and influence in the U.S. In 1997, okay, this is 17 years after his death, when historians finally uncovered Lennon's top-secret FBI file, these documents confirmed that the FBI considered Lennon a dangerous person because of his deep popularity among the youth that threatened to undermine Richard Nixon's re-election campaign. The FBI even engaged in a protracted and ultimately unsuccessful campaign to expel him from the country. In the long list of bad press moves by the FBI, that's definitely one of them. That's, this says that's near the top. I don't think so anymore. I mean, please, the FBI has done far more egregious things than that by now. But, I mean, that's pretty bad.
I wonder
It's pretty bad.
where Mark David Chapman was leading up to the shooting of John Lennon.
It's a good question, really.
I just wonder.
Wow. That might be worth looking into it. When you're thinking about it in that light.
Yeah, there was an article that was
Interesting.
passed around this room a couple years ago about maybe some MK Ultra influence that as well. By the
Really?
way, I was looking into Gary Webb, the guy who broke that story about the U.S. Basically fueling the drug crisis in America. Mm-hmm. And I remember he died young, and it was a strange circumstance. And so I went and I looked this up, and when one commits suicide, one definitely shoots themselves twice. Right? 'Cause
Right.
you want to make sure,
Make sure that
you're dead.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Was he shot in the head twice?
No, I believe he was shot in the head, and then the other one says he was hit an artery. But I don't know. Let's see. Hold on a second. Webb was found dead in his home December 10th, 2004, with 2 gunshot wounds to the head. His death was ruled a suicide by the Sacramento
Yeah, 2
County
gunshot
Coroner.
wounds to the head.
To the head. Yeah, thank you. Okay.
I mean, come on. That's virtually impossible. It's impossible.
Well, I mean, if you're a bad shot, I honestly, I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know.
come on.
Definitely a suicide, right?
Sure. Yeah, sure. Definitely.
I swear, there's so
Wow.
much we will never fully, truly know 100%.
Should we also get into Bohemian Grove?
Let's go. Yes.
Yes.
So hold on. This is a list.
Of
To
conspiracy
clarify.
theories that have turned out to be true.
Okay. So just know going in, everything you're reading has been proven true.
Yes. The idea that the world's rich and powerful all get together in secluded garden parties and engage in strange occult-like rituals is almost as cliche as conspiracy theories get. That being said, it's actually a faithful description of what goes on at the aptly named Bohemian Grove, a large private estate located in the California woods. Since the late 19th century, the Bohemian Grove has hosted an annual by-invitation-only 2-week retreat for the carousing of the male-only world's super elite. This is the one with the owl and stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, Alex Jones snuck in there, right?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. I think there's also allegations of eating babies and that kind of thing. I don't know if that part is definitely true, but the carousing includes a ritual entitled the Cremation of Care, where dark cloaked and hooded Grove attendees burn an effigy in front of a 20-foot concrete owl.
Golly.
The Grove inspired the Elysian Fields in season 5 of The House of Cards. So, pretty accurate. Pretty accurate.